Welcome to Mountain Cooking with Missy. Today I'm going to show you how to make these delicious spaghetti squash boats. Y'all, these are so good and a great alternative if you don't like to eat pasta or you can't have pasta. Here you go, y'all. These are simply delicious. All right, y'all, so I'm going to show you how to make these easy spaghetti squash boats, and they're really good if you want to do low carb or you need gluten-free and you can't eat pasta or something. These are a really good alternative. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I just split the spaghetti squash in half and I hold out the seeds just like that. I'm topping them with some avocado oil, just a good sprinkling, and I'm going to use a little bit of salt. This is like just coarse kosher salt is what I'm using. I like to use that sometimes with these kinds of recipes. And I'm using some cracked black pepper right on top of them. Now, when I was growing up, we used to grow a lot of squash, but I didn't even hear spaghetti squash until maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. I really didn't. But we grew a lot of butternut squash, which I love. I love any kind of squash, fried, whatever, stewed. My mama used to make stewed butternut squash. It's so good. But this is really good. I really like these a lot to make these in place of pasta. You can't beat it. It's really good. Now, I'm just going to do a little sprinkling of Italian seasoning. That's all this is, just regular Italian seasoning. And that's it. Now you're going to turn them over. And this is how you roast them. You just turn them over on their bellies or on their backs. I guess on their belly. Turn them over on their bellies. Kind of hard. They're slick suckers. All right, turn them over. Now you're going to just cut. I'm not going to cover them anything. I'm just going to bake them in here in this dish on their bellies for about 50 minutes at 350 degrees until they're roasted. Now I'm going to show you while the squash is roasted, I'm going to show you how I make a quick, easy homemade marinara sauce. Now, if you want to skip this part, you can just use your own favorite marinara sauce or canned or jarred spaghetti sauce that you want. But I have some garden tomatoes, and I'm going to show you how you can make a quick homemade spaghetti or marinara sauce. I call it marinara sauce a lot. On your own, by yourself. Just don't need it out of a can. It's much better for you and all that good stuff. So you want to start out, actually I'm going to start out with you got a good hot skillet here. I'm going to put in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, just a little. And I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of minced garlic. And I just get mine I just use mine right out of the jar. I buy minced garlic. I usually get that big amount at Costco. And you're going to put in, I got about a half a cup of chopped green pepper. And I have a medium chopped up onion. And you can use any kind of pepper you want. If you got red pepper or whatever, you can leave it out. But I like the pepper. And I got about 3 little medium tomatoes that I got out of my garden, some red and a few purple ones that I just sliced. It's going right in here. And they're going to break down. All this is going to break down and make a yummy topping for my butternut squash. I'm just going to stir that together. And you're just going to let this all simmer together. Now I'm going to add some salt. This is how much you want. I'm just eyeballing it, y'all. Probably about a teaspoon or less, probably less, of kosher salt. I use kosher salt for this because I think it tastes better. And I'm going to use some, a little bit of oregano. Not a lot. Oregano can be strong, especially if you get really good dried oregano. And I'm probably doing right at a half a teaspoon to start out. I'll taste it because I usually add more to it. Now basil, I like a lot more basil than I do oregano. And this is basil, and I'm going to use a good teaspoon of that, probably a heaping teaspoon. Crushed red pepper flakes, totally optional. You can leave it out, but I like it with a little bit of a kick to it. So I'm doing probably right at almost a teaspoon. Now you're just going to let this just cook down, and y'all, you should smell it. It's so good. You can add more tomatoes to it if you want. That's all the ones I had cut up. And so now I'm just going to let this simmer down and cook. And you can smell it, y'all. It smells good. You can smell that oregano and that basil for sure. Now after this cooks for just a few minutes, I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese to it, but not just yet. I'm just going to let this, didn't need to add no water or nothing to it because your veggies, your tomatoes got plenty of water content, and it's going to all start to just come together, y'all. This is some good stuff. I tell you, I make this a lot. Kenzie always requests this. She said, Mommy, we kind of call it primavera too sometimes because you put all these veggies in it, but she requests it a lot because she loves it. She likes it on pasta. So I'm just going to let this cook down. Look at that. Let it cook down for about 10 minutes. Let it simmer on about a medium-high heat. And when we come back, I'll add some Parmesan cheese to it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese. Add ever how much you want. I'm just doing about that much, measuring from the heart. I'm going to stir that up and put it on low until our spaghetti squash boats are ready. Now the spaghetti squash is done. So now all I do is I want to take a fork and start going around all the edges, and I'm going to just flake up the spaghetti part of the squash. And I'm going to get all that done, and we'll come back. I'll show you what it looks like. So once you got it all flaked apart, it's going to look just like spaghetti. You're going to go all the way to the edges with it and get all of it out that you can. Now we're going to top it with our sauce and some mozzarella cheese. All right, so now I'm going to put the sauce right on top of my spaghetti squash boats. Now you can take this sauce and leave it chunky like I have, or you can put it in a food processor and blend it up if you want it to be a little smoother. I personally like it chunky. And I'm just going to top it, put it right over the boats, divide it up. If you want to add some ground beef to this, or ground Italian sausage, or turkey, or chicken, or whatever, you can add meat to it if you want. But I don't want meat on it. I don't need it. I like it just like this. So you want to spoon your sauce right over the boats. Like so. So good, y'all. And I'm going to add a little bit more basil on top. Like a lot of basil. A little bit more of some grated Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to top these with some fresh sliced mozzarella cheese. It melts so much better than shredded, trust me. And I'm gonna do two to three slices of it. I get this at, let me show you where I get it. I get it just like this. It's fresh mozzarella. It looks like a log, but it's already been sliced. I get this at Costco, but y'all, fresh mozzarella melts so much better. If you can find it and use it, then I highly recommend it. So I'm gonna put 3 on this one, and I got another little in here. And this one right here for mozzarella. So there we go. Now I'm going to top it with some parsley, a little bit of parsley. And if I can get my lid open, I like parsley. A good sprinkle. Now, I have my oven on broil, and I'm going to just set these in here and let the cheese melt, and then they'll be ready to eat. Look at there, y'all. So I like to drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil on them. Just a little extra drizzle or two. And gonna let them sit and cool off, and then we will dig into them. All right, now it's taste testing time. Y'all, this spaghetti squash is delicious. Trust me. I don't think you'll miss the pasta at all. Delicious. 10 out of 10, as Kenzie always says. So I hope you make it. If you do, let me know. These are a very good, healthy alternative to pasta. And I'm telling you, you'll eat the whole thing too. Thank y'all for watching Mountain Cooking with Missy, where it's nothing fancy, just good eating.